Welcome back to the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet. Could not be more pleased to have guests with us this morning. We have Linda Brinson, Executive Director
Yes.
of
United
Community Ministries.
Yes.
And we have Tanya Parker, who is the manager, just named manager
Yes.
of the community shelter for United Community Ministries.
Yes, sir.
Ladies, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me.
Let's jump right in. Linda, let's talk a little bit about UCM. It's how long it's been in the community, what its overall place is. What does UCM do for Nash, Rocky Mountain, and Edgecombe counties?
Okay. UCM have been in the community now for about 47 years, and actually we'll serve the resident of Nash and Edgecombe County. And also we provide shelter for them, food for them, and not just giving them just shelter, but actually giving them the case management so that we can give them the necessary tools to become self-sufficient. Because we feel that we can change their mind, we can just change the situation that they're in. And we have weekly case management meetings with them, setting those goals so that they can, get to where they need to be at.
So when someone is facing the prospect of not knowing where they're going to be able to spend the next night, they don't have any even semi-permanent housing. This is something that UCM can assist people with.
Yes, with our community shelter, we actually serve the individual men and women there. And so they just come in and we actually just get the ID. If they don't have an ID, that's fine. And then we also, do like an orientation with them so they can know what we expect of them, of the rules and regulation.
And that's the case management portion of what you do, is that that when someone comes in, the goal is to give them the tools and the necessary things to be able to help them to get out, to find a place to live, and to find the ability to support themselves.
Yes, and one issue that we have seen as far as like the individual is that they may come in with income, but there's no affordable housing for them.
Let's talk about that one
Yes.
as we go forward. Tanya, let's turn to you.
Okay.
You have just been named the manager of the community shelter,
Yes, sir.
which serves the needs of men and women in the community in Nash and Edgecombe County and Rocky Mountain who are experiencing homelessness at
Yes,
this
sir.
point. Congratulations.
Thank you again.
Off air, you were telling us just a little bit about your story. Would you mind sharing with our viewers how you came to be in this position?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to
Our
come.
pleasure.
And secondly, found myself in 2003 November. I went through a failed marriage, had a nervous breakdown, had 3 young children at the time, 3, 5, and 7, and life happened. That happens to most of us. We never know when we'll get in a situation or a difficult place where it causes us not to be able to take care of ourselves. So in this particular time, I was able to go into the Bassett Center, which is geared more for families, for women or men with children. At first, I was hurt, frustrated, mad, because I put myself in this situation. But at the time, they offered all these great classes and as far as life skills, parenting skills. They caused me to, have to have a curfew, and I was bucking the system at first. I was bucking the system, and then I realized that I needed to take advantage of the situation. Stop blaming myself, stop blaming the situation, stop blaming others, and just take the responsibility and take advantage of where I was. So I was able to go to these classes. I was able to save money. I was able to go through a first-time home buyers program. So when I left the shelter in a year and a half, I left homeless, but I left as a homeowner. So I thank God for the opportunity that I went through with that situation that has caused me to be the woman that I am now. And if it had not been for the Bassett Center, I do not know where I would be today. Because it was a place of help when I was in my deepest need. And so.
And you bring up, first of all, thank you.
Yes.
And congratulations. That is the story about, or the part of the story about, you came into the Bassett Center. There were expectations and
Yes.
rules put down, and at first you bucked the system
Yes,
until
sir.
you realized that they were working to try and help you get to where you want to be.
Absolutely, sir. Yes.
I think that's to me, the most satisfying and most rewarding part of that is that you realized that there were people there to help you. There were just expectations from you.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
You bring up an interesting point. Many people who haven't experienced homelessness or don't know someone that has experienced homelessness may have a misconception about all of the things that can come together to put someone in a situation.
Absolutely.
You talk about a failed marriage.
Yes.
I know that people come to the Bassett Center and may come to the community shelter through domestic violence situations, through situations of being human trafficked.
Yes.
And something as simple as a house fire. Your house is burned, or as we see as happened on the West Coast, extensive flooding can put people out.
Yes.
There are numerous situations that can put someone in a situation where they don't know where they're going to spend the night tonight.
Yes.
And so that means life happens to us all.
Life happens.
And I think a lot of it's this this concept or this mindset that's only people that are lazy or just ain't trying to take that's not doing anything and they just looking a certain way. But it's all of us, and some of us that got 401ks and got checks that if we lose that, we will be in that place as well.
But for the grace of God.
Yes.
But because the grace of God. Come on now. Yes, sir. We can get started.
The Bassett Center is a unique situation
Yes,
in that
it
it
is.
is designed specifically for
families.
families. How many families can you accommodate at the Bassett Center?
12 families at a time, and usually we serve about 56 a year. And out of those 56 families, probably about 36 actually get into permanent housing. Some of them end up, restoring their relationship with family, so they end up going back home. And some of them, which is a few, they actually do not work the program, so then they'll exit from the program.
Understood. Ladies, we've just come through a unique period of time. For the last 2.5 years, the country's been dealing with a COVID situation that has changed how everyone treats life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What have you seen from the Bassett Center and the community shelter about COVID? How has it changed? But has it changed what you've done, and has it changed the people that you've seen come into the situation?
Well, actually, what has actually changed was the amount of funding that we was receiving from the community and all. So the donation had went down significant and everything. And then, so we actually sent out some appeal letters, and the community, different organization, they actually came to our aid because we was at a point last year that we was looking at maybe closing the community shelter because we only had like 1 month of funding to actually, sustain us and everything. And the city of Rocky Mount,
City stepped up.
yes, the city of Rocky Mount really stepped up and to keep those doors open, because imagine if the community shelter end up closing, we're talking about the elderly, the mentally ill, and also the physically disabled. And that's like the most of the clientele that we're serving now, when in the years past it was the most of substance abuse. But what we have been seeing lately is that these people, loved ones, are actually just drop them off at the shelter and just leaving them. And it's sad, but they have, like I said, some of them have the income, but they don't have enough income to actually get a place to stay because of affordable housing.
Yes. Are you seeing the same thing at the Bassett Center in terms of different reasons why people are coming in?
No, as far as like the Bassett Center, it's like low income, and waiting for housing to come open for them, and some of them, because they can't afford daycare, so which make that they can't get a job. So this is why we try to get them into subsidized housing, which then they can't afford, because you're looking at maybe paying like $50 a month.
Yes.
As far as that, but we still set those goals for them to try to get a job and everything, and then we do have some funding available to help them to get into some daycare until they get approved for some of the government programs as far as daycare.
I think it would be interesting for our viewers to know too that you are the primary provider of these services in Nash and Edgecombe County.
Yes, we are. Yes, and without us, some of the families, we had actually, one lady had actually called, and she was a veteran. And she felt like that she couldn't provide for her son and everything, and she was actually talking about committing suicide. And we had to actually sort of like maybe make a priority for her to get her in the Bassett Center, and then maybe put somebody else down the list, because we're looking at, she felt like her child would be better off if she was dead. And so we're looking at those situations, and there was another situation where this gentleman, his daughter was actually had got evicted, and they was living in their van. And so someone came and told the father that, you know, someone needed to see him. So he just walked down the street or whatever. And this person that told him that, he actually came back, took this man's daughter, and she was like 11-year old, and raped her and everything. And, you know, took her out to the cemetery right here in Rocky Mount and raped the little child and everything. And I got a call from Nash General and about this child and everything. So we ended up bringing them in. And she just started crying and just said that, you know, no one had ever showed them that kind of kindness and everything. And, you know, and she was just grateful for that. And even though this child went through this ordeal, she never missed a day out of school, and she was a straight A student.
Oh.
And we actually got her into counseling too.
In the interest of complete openness, I know about the UCM because I used to be married to someone who was intimately involved with UCM. In
Yes.
fact, your former executive director.
Yeah.
So these stories are not new.
Right.
These type of stories
Come
are not
on
new
now.
to me.
Yes, sir.
And I bring that up to simply say the heartbreak that is out
Yes.
there that many people don't see is the untold story of what goes on. It happens in every community. It happens
Yes.
in every single place. And the fact that there are organizations out there that are able to help people and that
Yes.
are able to help folks who want to get back on their feet
Yes.
Yes.
is the most important part. And I think
is.
that's the real mission, in my opinion, the real mission that UCM was set up to do and what you
Yes.
ladies are continuing to do with it.
And I just want to add to that as far as why is it so important, and I pray that our community see the need to donate or to, you know, sponsor these type of programs, because, you know, like I said, if it had not been for, you know, where would I be? And so I know a lot of times, you know, we feel like programs are not doing what they're supposed to do, so they kind of
Yes.
iffy about sending their monies or volunteering or whatever. But I'm here to compel or to tell people that this program are boots on the ground, and we are the hands and feet of Jesus, that I feel to be able to help his people. So, you know, we definitely need the finance and, you know, and the things so we can continue to transform lives.
I want to come back to that. There's
Absolutely.
one other point I'd like to bring up and get your ladies' opinion on it. Virtually every governmental entity, city council, governors, legislators, talk about the need for more affordable housing.
Come on now, yes.
Yet,
Nothing.
we continue to have what I will call the not in my backyard situation.
Yes.
Come on now.
What we have is talk about affordable housing, but you can't do it here.
Absolutely.
Right.
Don't do it there. Don't do it there. This is my opinion, folks.
Yes, sir.
As long as you have governmental entities that in any way are going to restrict building housing, you're not going to address affordable housing.
Exactly.
So, Linda, give us just an overview of what this situation is in Nash and Edgecombe County with regards to affordable housing. Folks who work at Chick-fil-A, folks who work who are doing the service work, folks who are police officers, folks who are nurses. I mean, these are not fabulously wealthy individuals.
Right.
They're making good money,
But
but where does that put them in terms of actually being able to afford to live in Rocky Mount, Nash and Edgecombe County?
Well, actually looking at some of the families that are coming through the Bassett Center, they don't have enough income to actually, because you have to have 3 times the amount of what their rent is.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at people that are working part-time jobs because the employer don't want to pay those benefits,
That's
so
right.
then they're working those part-time jobs. And so which put them in this homeless situation and all. And so, and we actually need more affordable housing around here and everything. And so when we don't have those affordable houses, the families end up living longer in a homeless shelter.
And let's just make that we're talking about manufactured housing. We're talking about mother-in-law housing, tiny housing. We're talking about subsidized housing, Section 8. We're talking about builders having an incentive to be able to build affordable housing, and developers not buying their way out of building affordable housing to be able to do that. We're talking about putting this affordable housing in places it's available, and if that means it's closer to neighborhoods, it's closer to neighborhoods. These are the sorts of things that until a community is truly serious
Yes.
about addressing affordable housing and making it so that everyone that works in the community
Yes.
can afford to live in the community.
Exactly.
It is just
Yes.
lip service.
It's just
It
lip
is.
service. Yes, sir.
It really is.
And a lot of times, we do have people that have the housing vouchers, but we don't have nowhere for them to go.
That's right.
So they got assistance to get into a home, but we have a lot of homes that are just not feasible. It's just too high for them to go. Or, I know what I've seen. I am born and raised in Rocky Mount. I love my city. I'm very an advocate for my city, and it's sad that you see all these boarded up houses.
I was just going to say, because here in Rocky Mount, we have, on
We
both
have a-
National Edge comes
yes,
out, we have
yes.
a large number of houses that are uninhabitable because they have been boarded up.
Absolutely, yes.
Yet, the
Why we
will,
can't come
the
on.
will of the community, and I will
Yes.
not place this solely on government, the will of
Will
the
of the
community to
community,
say
absolutely.
that those houses could be turned
Yes.
into affordable homes
Yes.
for folks that need them, for families that need them,
Exactly.
with the right level of determination. and
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Yes.
And so that was be one of my questions. Why can't we not use these houses to get these people on their feet and self-sufficient and wrap programs around them so they would continue? Because like I said, I've been in my home now 19 years. Since 2005, and if it had not been for the Bassett Center and those classes of budgeting and finance and things of that nature that was for me to take advantage of, I wouldn't be there. And so I believe if we get, some people don't really want a handout, they just want help or a guide,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, so they can go further.
And that's a situation that if you don't know what you don't know, you
Absolutely.
don't know what's available.
Exactly.
At a time that you are having to make some decisions very quickly, it's very daunting to not know where to go and who to turn to.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and also what we have seen in the past year, the government did provide those emergency vouchers and everything. And the thing is, this affordable housing, because since the pandemic, the rent had went up substantially and everything.
One of the things that Wayne and I did not have a chance to talk about today is just that very situation
Yes.
where a number of people are being evicted
Yes,
because
they
their
are.
rent, just in the past month or so,
Yes.
has gone up substantially, gone up without notice to them going up.
Absolutely.
This is, I hope we're going to be able to get to that story tomorrow to talk about it too.
Yes, sir.
Ladies, if anything that has been said today has sparked a nerve or touched something inside our viewers, and they would like to either learn more about UCM and or volunteer or make a contribution, what is the best way for them to learn more about UCM or become involved?
They can actually call us at 252-985-0078, and also just contact us through our website, which is www.unitedcommunityministry.org. And you can just send an email, and then I can respond back to you. And if you want to do volunteer work, we can actually, have you to do volunteer work too.
Folks, I would say I know the website, but the internet search that I did this morning with the website up right here, I did not get past United Community before the prompt was United Community Ministries Rocky Mount. It's not hard to find.
It's not hard to
What do you need? What are the sorts of things? And specifically at the shelter and the Bassett Center, donations are always welcome, but not just monetary donations. You need other things as well too.
Yes, actually, we need some repairs that are done. If anyone
Yes.
can help as far as repairing, because especially with the community shelter,
Shelter.
we need some repairs done around there.
Electrician.
And
So carpenter, electrician, plumbing, that sort of
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
thing. And I also think, don't you also need things like clothes, things like for children's clothes, people who are coming to the shelter, especially the Bassett Center, who are maybe leaving a domestic violence situation, who are walking out just with the clothes on their back.
Well, the community is actually great as far as donating clothing
Okay.
and all. So they are great as far as that. So it's we're overly stocked as far
Okay.
as the
Yeah.
clothing.
No clothing.
And one of the main things that we need is
Large cans.
bleach,
Oh yeah.
cleaning supplies,
Cleaning supplies.
Cleaning.
and also pillows and blankets and sheets. And so those are those things that we need, like the twin side blankets that we need
Okay.
and all.
Okay. I think it's good to let our viewers know that, because again, if somebody has something that they can donate,
Absolutely.
to be able to think about it. Our time goes so quickly.
Yes, it does.
But as we wrap things up, if there was one thing each of you ladies would like our viewers to remember from this interview, what would it be?
Well, I would like for the community to remember this. You know, all of us are one paycheck away from being homeless.
Absolutely.
And then also look at the people that you can help and that life happened to us. And so in some situations, you know, people do not, you know, actually put themselves in those situations, but everyone need a help, you know, a helping hand.
Yes.
You know, we don't want to give them a hand out, but we want to give them a hand up. And that's
Yes.
what we want to do to help them become whole and everything.
Yes.
And that's our main objective, to help each individual become whole, not just providing those sources, but even to deal with the inner man, the spiritual part.
Absolutely.
Tanya?
Just, you know, to piggyback on what she stated in regards of, you know, putting yourself in that situation that it could be you. So what would you want to have in place if you had that opportunity or had that situation? So just, you know, people, which we understand people are still today have a heart for people. So we grateful, we're thankful for what y'all already done, but we continue to hope that y'all would do even more, you know, to make sure that our doors are always open.
Linda Brinson, Executive Director, Tanya Parker, Manager of the Community Shelter from United Community Ministries. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us.
And thank you for
It's
having
so
us here.
grateful. Thank you.
I'd like for you to come back in 4 to 6 months to give us an update
Okay.
on how things are going.
Yes.
By that time, we will be in late spring, early summer. Instead of
Okay.
it being cold outside, it'll be hot outside,
Yes.
which
Yes.
poses different challenges to that too.
It
But Linda,
does.
would love for you to come back and give
Oh,
us an
yeah,
update
we will
on
be
this.
glad to come back.
Yes,
Thank you. And
absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your story as
Thank you.
well, too.
Thank
It
you.
is always nice to hear a story,
A real-
a
yes.
redemption, and one that works out well.
Absolutely.
And what a great perspective you bring to the people at the shelter to be
Yes.
able to say,
Hey, I've been where you are. So it's
Yes.
not coming from, you know, a dictatorship. It's coming from a heart of knowing, you know, how you feel, you know. And so I'm grateful and looking forward of the great things that are coming.
thank you so much,
Thank
ladies.
you.
We're going to step aside for these messages. When we come back, we'll have our last look at weather. Then Wayne and I will wrap things up. You're watching the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet, and we'll be right back after these messages.